This is a production of PBS Charlotte.
The following episode of Charlotte Cooks is brought to you by Central Piedmont Community College and viewers like you. Thank you.
Hi there, and welcome to this edition of Charlotte Cooks. I am so glad you're here today. We're going to be making a lovely little salad, and we're going to be making it with fresh salmon. And I'm going to show you how to cook that salmon so that when you serve it, it's just pure deliciousness with no skin and no bloodline or anything like that. I'm going to show you how to remove those. A lot of times you will ask your butcher or your fish person to remove that for you, but I'm going to show you a foolproof way that anybody can do it, and you're going to have fabulous salmon to begin with. So what we're going to start off with is our dressing. And I've already taken a couple steps ahead just so we don't have to watch bacon cook. So we all know how to cook bacon, right? You put it in a pan and you get it hot. I've already cooked this off, so I'm going to take it and you want it crispy. Because what you're going to do with the crispy bacon is you are going to crumble it up and use it in our salad. Now, if you wanted to use turkey bacon, you certainly could. If you didn't want to use bacon, you could leave it out. That's totally okay, but you know what? Bacon's delicious. So if you eat bacon, let's do the bacon thing, all right? So I'm gonna put that on the back. I'm gonna crumble that up later. So I'm gonna get my bacon fat. You wanna leave a little bit of that bacon fat in the bottom of the pan, okay? You want about 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons, which is just exactly what it is. And you want to have all that brown stuff in the bottom of your pan. We call that fond, F-O-N-D. We're fond of fond because really what this does is it gives a lot of flavor to your sauce. So we're going to add to this bacon grease, we're going to get it a little bit warm. We're going to take a chopped shallot, about 2 tablespoons of shallot. We're going to put these right in here. And we're going to saute those until they are translucent, okay? So, oh, this smells so good, the onions and the bacon fat already. Oh, I'm drooling, I haven't even started cooking really. This is really wonderful. This is a really nice little salad to make anytime you want to have a nice light dinner or even a lunch. I'm going to show you a nice way of plating it up so everything just gets shown off to the best of its ability. So, we're going to stir this up. One of the things we're going to have handy is balsamic vinegar, because when these shallots, if you didn't have shallot, you could certainly use an onion. I would use a red onion if you didn't have shallot, because red onions are a little bit sweeter. Could you use a white onion? Yep. Can you use just any onion? Yep. So you want to saute it. You want to get it to where you're ready to start scraping up this stuff on the bottom of your pan. You're going to take your balsamic vinegar. You're going to add about 1/3 cup of balsamic vinegar directly to this pan. Here's a warning. When you add vinegar to a hot pan, what's going to happen? It's going to steam. You're not going to have steam like water steam. You're going to have steam like vinegar steam. And it's going to make your eyes water. It's going to make you cough. So you don't want to get it to where you're breathing it, okay? So add your vinegar, about 1/3 cup. Stir it around. And then take your spatula and you want to get all that lovely, lovely, lovely brown stuff off the bottom of your pan, because that is part of our flavor. After this, we're going to add a little bit of chicken stock. Chicken stock just to make the vinegar, because it's concentrating down here. We're going to add the chicken stock so that it's just going to not necessarily dilute that vinegar, but it's going to give it a nice little additional flavor. It's not going to be as sharp as if it was just plain old everyday vinegar. Okay? So, I'm going to stir this around. And once we have this done, you can see we're getting all the stuff off the bottom of the pan. We're going to worry about the stuff on the side of the pan later, but see now all those little bacon bits that were on the bottom of the pan, they're gone, and that's what we want, okay? Next we're going to take our olive oil and a little whisk. We're going to turn our heat off, put in a couple tablespoons of olive oil, just whisk this in, set this aside. That is what we're going to use for our dressing, okay? It's kind of like that, that hot bacon dressing you put on a spinach salad, it's just a little bit better because it's made with balsamic vinegar, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a saute pan and we're going to get it hot. Next we're going to start doing our salmon, okay? First thing we're going to do with our salmon is we are going to get it browned in our pan, and then we're going to flip it and we're going to put it in the oven, finish cooking it in the oven. We're going to prepare our salad. We're going to get our plates ready. We're going to take the salmon out of the oven and we're going to skin it. We're going to take the bloodline out of it and we're going to get it ready for our salad. So here's our salmon, okay? So we got these beautiful pieces of salmon here. Now one thing I have to caution you about is a lot of times when people want to cook salmon or fish or something, they go ahead and they put all kinds of seasonings on it. Let's just put salt and pepper on this. Because we are going to have a wonderful dressing from our balsamic vinegar and shallots and bacon, we don't really need to have too much fanciness on our actual salmon, okay? A little bit of salt and pepper. And if you wanted to add a few little seasonings, such as a little bit of lemon or lime, they have crystallized lemon or lime, which is really wonderful in the dish. You can do that too. You just have to be aware that whatever you put on the top of this salmon has a tendency to burn in the pan. So don't put things like basil or garlic powder or onion powder or something like that on there because it will burn, and we don't want to do that. We can always add that later after the salmon is finished. So we got our pan hot. How do I tell my pan is hot? I go to touch it with my hand and I wouldn't dare put it down on the bottom of that skillet because I feel the heat, okay? Put a little bit of oil in the bottom of the pan. Now we're going to take our salmon and we're going to put it in the pan, flesh side down. Now when you put this in the pan, one of the things you want to hear is that sizzle. If you don't hear that sizzle, then your pan is not hot enough, okay? These are beautiful portions. Now, when I go and I buy my salmon, specifically for this dish, I ask the fish man if he can give me center cut pieces of salmon. When you buy your salmon fillets, if you buy the whole thing, it'll be wide at the beginning and it'll taper down to a narrow tail part. Usually these cuts, when you see them cut like this, are cut from the top part of the salmon, and this is a really generous portion. So we're going to let this cook until we see that it's going to get golden brown a little bit on the bottom. And one of the ways we're going to look at that, let me see how I can show you this. I'll use this knife. We are going to look at the very edge, the very bottom edge of the salmon as it's cooking. And we're going to be able to see it turning from raw fish-like to being opaque. So it's going to be cooked. And that's what we're looking for. We're not looking to cook it completely in this pan right now. We're only looking to get it some color. We're going to flip it over and we're going to finish it in the oven, and then we're going to make our salad. While we have a moment, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about knives. How to choose a knife, what different knives are used for. We're going to start off with a chef's knife. This is the most common knife that's around. This is the one that you would use for just about everything. Now, one thing I want to tell you about when you're selecting a knife is to try it out, okay? I don't mean try it out like go and cut up a bunch of things, but you want to put it in your hand. You want to feel that it feels balanced, okay? You also want to put it on a board or on a counter if you're in a store trying it out. You want to make sure that your knuckles aren't hitting the cutting board, okay? If your knuckles are hitting the cutting board, when you're going, you know, when you see chefs going and they go with their knives really, really fast, if you are hitting your knuckles on that cutting board every time you go with a cut, you're not going to be able to get your speed up. So you want to make sure that that knife has enough space for you to be able to get your knife rocking and rolling, okay? Another part of a chef's knife is a serrated blade. Serrated blades are really good for bread, tomatoes, things that squish when you cut them with a regular knife, because the teeth on the serrated blade will cut right through it and make it nice and sharp. Now, in addition to the chef's knives, there's also something called the Santoku knife. Now I want to show you this knife because this has got a little bit of a cutout here on the edge of the blade. This is what's called a hollow ground. And what this does is it doesn't let things stick to the blades. Like if you're cutting cheese, you're cutting cucumbers or radishes or something like that, and they have a tendency to stick to your knife, this hollow ground would prevent that from happening. Now this is called the Santoku, this is called the Santoku. They're both they're Japanese knives. They're Japanese versions of the chef's knife, which is also called a French knife. Okay, materials. Knives are made out of 3 different kinds of materials. You have one made out of stainless steel. Advantage is that they're very hard and they're difficult to sharpen once they lose their edge. In fact, nearly impossible. The next kind you have is what's called a carbon steel knife. A carbon steel knife will rust if you leave it wet. When you cut an onion with it, it'll turn black, okay? Now, the best material is a combination of the stainless steel and the carbon steel, which are what these knives are. And if you can get a really close look on here, you'll see it says high carbon, no stain on the side of the knife. And that's what you're looking for. That means it's a combination of carbon steel and stainless steel. That means it's going to have a nice sharp edge. The carbon element in it means you're going to be able to sharpen it and get a really nice sharp edge, and it's going to hold an edge, and you're going to be able to sharpen it once it loses the edge, not like a stainless steel knife. Now, this is something totally different. This knife is made out of ceramic, okay? The thing about ceramic knives is they're a little bit lighter, but you have to be aware they break. Okay, they're tender, they're delicate, so you don't want to use this to take staples out of a carton, okay? Now, another knife you might need is a boning knife. Now, when you're buying a boning knife, these are the knives that you use for taking the bones out of a chicken, or if you really wanted to get adventurous and fillet a fish, you would want to get a long boning knife. But the difference between these two, this one doesn't bend, okay? It's nice and stiff. This one is flexible. This is a flexible boning knife, and this is what we use for filleting a fish, for getting those nice flesh without any bones in it. The other knife you might want to consider looks like a long paring knife, okay? Paring knives or other kinds of knives. This is a nice short knife for utility work, peeling things, just quick little work like slicing up onions, or, you know, just a lot of people use these for a lot of different things. But people who aren't comfortable with a big chef's knife would also be comfortable with a utility knife. The utility knife is a little bit longer than the paring knife, and it makes a good alternative to the chef's knife. So I hope that this gives you a little bit of information about how to choose your knife. Don't forget to try it on when you go. Make sure that you have enough room for your knuckles. Don't buy a whole set. Buy individual knives based on different projects and different things you're working on. I'm going to check it and see if it's ready. Carefully flip him over. Good enough. Got a nice little color on him. That's good enough. Come on, flip over. There you go. All right. That's all you need. Now, if you wanted to put a little more color on there, you certainly could. The whole point is just to get a little color on the surface of that salmon. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to take it, we're going to put it in the oven. How hot is my oven? My oven is at 400 degrees, so it's going to cook pretty quickly, okay? So, just remember, you don't want to overcook your salmon. You just want it cooked just to the point where it's done. How do you tell when it's overcooked? Well, it gets that white film over the top of it, and we just don't want that. All right, popping these in the oven. Turning off my burner. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to get a little salad ready. So my salad greens that I've chosen for this salad is a combination of arugula, which is also known as a rocket. If you go to Great Britain, they call it rocket greens. So if you hear anybody calling about rocket, all they're really talking about is arugula. Arugula, you can use it just like spinach, the exact same way as you use spinach. It has a peppery flavor to it. And it's really kind of interesting. If you grow it in your garden at home, the peppery flavor is a little bit more pronounced. And if you buy it in a store, that pepper flavor is just a little bit more mild. And that's okay. That's totally fine. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to combining a little bit of the red leaf lettuce with a little bit of the arugula, just so we have some color and some, you know, textural contrast. I'm going to toss them together. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to take a little bit of our dressing and we're going to toss the dressing over the lettuce, because this is pretty much all there is to the salad. We're not going to use all this dressing right now because we're going to save a little bit of that dressing to put over the salmon too. Now, something else I did earlier is I took some of my straight balsamic vinegar and I tossed it on the stove and I reduced it so it got to be a nice thick syrupy consistency. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that in just a second. So you don't want to have your salad greens swimming in dressing. You saw I just put like a spoonful in here, okay? You just want to lightly coat all of your greens with the dressing. You don't want to have anything leaking off of your lettuce when you're done and you're trying to plate up later. You don't want that dressing swimming out of your salad. You just want to have it just lightly coating all of the greens so that they all have a little bit of that flavor to them. We're going to choose some rectangular plates today to plate our greens up, our salads on. And I'm going to pull those forward right now because we are going to take a little bit of our greens and put them on our plate. And you're going to see what I mean about having the dressing not going all over the place. Okay, and the greens are going to be beautifully dressed. I'm going to garnish this with a couple of cherry tomatoes too, but I'll put those on there at the end. One thing I want to show you is the balsamic vinegar that I've reduced. Just basically take your balsamic vinegar and put it on the stove and boil it until it reduces to a syrup consistency. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to take a little bit of it and drizzle it on the plate. That's it. What's that for? That's where my salmon is going to go, okay? When we're all done with this, we'll show you how this works all together. I have a suspicion that my salmon is done. It's in that hot oven. It doesn't take long to cook. I'll take my salmon out. Now this is what I really want to show you the most. I'm going to take this piece right out of the middle here. I'm going to bring it over here to this table where my cutting board is, and I'm going to carefully flip it over. Now you see the skin is there. Now some people like to eat salmon skin. I don't. Some people will take it and they'll crisp it up and they'll serve it like a crispy piece of seaweed or something. I don't do that. But if you want to, you certainly could. You can see how the pan got the skin nice and crispy. So what's going to happen here, if you wanted to serve the skin on it, you certainly could. But what's underneath this skin is what I want to get rid of. So we've got this gray stuff here on the back of the salmon. And this has got an awful flavor to it. It is just bitter, it's nasty, it helps carry the blood through the fish. And you can see it just scrapes off. Okay? So you just scrape that off just like that. I'm going to show you again on another piece. Then we're going to take it, we're going to carefully fold it back over. We can take this and put it on our plate, right like that. Okay? Want to see that again? This is what you do. Pick it up and flip him over. Now here's something I want to tell you guys something. When you guys are using a pan, now obviously this is a non-stick pan. If you use a pan that's not a non-stick pan and things start sticking to it, you like start going like this and you see that it's not coming up, don't put your spatula in this way. You see the spatula has a curve to it. You want to put it in upside down like this because that's going to get underneath that stuff as opposed to curving up and you may not get everything that's underneath the pan. You're going to do this underneath the pan. I don't want to scratch this pan, so I'm not going to go too deep. But that's the way you would get something off the bottom of a pan if it was sticking, okay? So let's go back to our skin over here. We've got this turned over. We can see the salmon is nicely cooked. I'm going to take this, just lift it up and pull it off. And remember, it's hot. Pull it off and scrape the bloodline out, okay? All this is something that when you're in a restaurant and you're paying a whole lot of money for a nice piece of salmon, this gray stuff that's coming off of this thing should never come on your plate. Never, ever, ever. This should be, if you're paying a lot of money for a dinner and you're out in a really fancy restaurant, this is stuff that should never make it to the dining room. The cooks need to take their time and do this correctly in order to really, I need another plate, don't I? Ha-ha, let's get another plate. I'm going to add some of our greens to this. And to really make this plate pop, I'm going to add a couple of cherry tomatoes to it as well. But we're going to finish doing our salmon. Here we have our balsamic. It's a balsamic vinegar, strictly balsamic vinegar that has been reduced to a beautiful syrup-like consistency. And the reason I use that as opposed to that is because this looks a whole lot better on the plate, okay? It's the little things like that that make a difference between being average and being high-end, okay? So these are different things that you're going to be looking for. Lay that across there. So next, I'm going to put our plates up here. We're going to finish garnishing them. I'm going to take some of my cherry tomatoes. And I like using these cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes, whatever one you find. I'm going to cut them into quarters. Just cut them in half. And when I cut them into half, and I cut them into quarters, folks, I'm not cutting them this way. See the little stem end? I'm cutting them lengthways this way, so that what happens is when you cut it, you're not getting a piece of tomato that has what I call a belly button on it, okay? It just doesn't look so hot, okay? So we're going to cut them this way, lengthwise. I'm going to cut them into quarters again, so we have nice little slivers of tomato. And one of the rules of thumb that we like to use in culinary is odd numbers on plates. Okay, so I wouldn't put 4 on there. I'd use 1, 3, 5, 7, but 3 is a really good number just because it looks good. Okay, put those on the side. And take some blue cheese. This is a lovely salad with blue cheese. Put some, crumble it over the top of the lettuce, so you can always get some of that blue cheese in your salad. You want to put a few pieces over here next to your salmon as well, because you've got to have a bite with all of this together. I mean, seriously, when you're eating this, you got to get a little bit of everything on your fork and try it, because it is awesome. Next, we're going to add some of that crumbled bacon. I know our bacon is still sitting over there, but I had some earlier that I crumbled up. And we're just going to take this and sprinkle some of this on the plate and on your salad. And every time I think about this, I go, ooh, that spinach salad with the bacon dressing is just so good. And yes, this is a wonderful take off of that. And so if you like that flavor, you're going to love this flavor too. And now something else that we can do to put on this plate if we wanted to, if we really wanted to dress it up, is we can take a piece of bread, a nice big crusty bread, and toast them up. Get them nice and toasty. You want them nice and toasty and crispy, okay? I'm going to take a clove of raw garlic. What am I going to do with this raw garlic? I'm going to rub it over the surface of this toast. Why am I doing this? Because it's going to add a wonderful flavor of garlic on this toast without having chunks of raw garlic in your mouth, okay? And you're going to get this wonderful flavor. And you can do this like if you're making a Caesar salad. You can make it into garlic croutons for a Caesar salad. I like doing this with Italian meals because instead of making garlic bread with all that butter, this is a nice way of getting bread and garlic in your system without all that butter. And you can add this to the side if you'd like. Put this little on the side. I'm going to grab my tongs and lift this up and put this under here. So now we have a little bit of a crouton, a crunchy crouton. We have got delicious, delicious balsamic dressing that is warm, like a warm bacon vinaigrette. We have our salmon that we have taken the skin off, which is really a primo way of doing this. And look at this salad. Do you think you would like that for dinner? It is absolutely delicious. Look at that. How do you find that irresistible? Now I want to show you something on this salmon too. Look at the side of this salmon. You could see here that it's just beginning to seep out that white stuff here along the sides. And that's the sign your salmon is cooked, okay? Now sometimes you can serve salmon on the medium rare side, not cooked all the way through, and that's totally fine. But if your preference is to have it all the way cooked, cook it all the way. There really is just like eating a piece of meat. If you want your meat cooked all the way, eat your meat cooked all the way. Doesn't mean one's right and one's wrong, it's a matter of personal taste. So just a real quick recap on how to do this. Take that skin, pull it off. If you get a chunk off there, well, that could be a kitchen snack. Okay? Take your knife and just scrape that off. See, it comes off very easily. You don't need to use a big fancy knife. Just use a small paring knife and then flip him over. And that's it. That's how you do this, folks. That's just how you do it. So, with our lovely, lovely, lovely dishes, I do hope you enjoy the salmon. Please try it. If you wanted to mount it all in a bowl and put the salmon on top, you can do that too. There is no hard, fast rules. You don't even have to reduce the balsamic if you don't want to. It just looks a whole lot better on the plate than if I was to put that dressing on there, because it's just a little bit on the, what do we call, oily side because of the bacon fat. And it doesn't look good on the plate, but it tastes absolutely delicious in the salad. I do hope that you try this dish. I think you're going to find it's just absolutely delicious. You can find our recipes on our website at pbscharlotte.org, and you can email me as well at Pamela, P-A-M-E-L-A, Roberts, R-O-B-E-R-T-S, @cpcc.edu. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know how you like this dish. Let me know how you like the other things. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time on Charlotte Cooks.
Production of PBS Charlotte.